All right. He never uses the gun, actually. It's never referenced. It's just in there, and that's it. All right, so already I noticed something on the video here. Let me fix that. There we go. So yeah, basically we hold left in the first world, skips all of the levels in the first world. Seems to be the only stage in the entire game that does that, and we don't know why. But then onward we move on to the teddy bear world. Basically what you're going to see a lot of here is just jumping, because we don't use the second ability that James Pond has until I think the 3rd level. Fun fact, when first running through this game, I didn't know that you could hold down when you're hitting enemies, and it actually like does like double or triple damage. It's insane how much it does. Also, what you saw just a little bit back there is I was trying to go down one of the platforms, and I actually couldn't, because when you turn, there's a bit of a slip in between like movements. If you're moving left or right really quickly, your character slides, but they'll also kind of move slower. I'm just gonna refresh the chat. Yeah, that makes platforming a little bit harder, just because if you're trying to do really quick motions, you have to give yourself like half a second for the game to register that you did that before you move again. Yeah, it's probably Slipper and his little coddy feet. The worst offender in this game for the slipping happening is definitely stairs, because it counts as you moving a direction very quickly. Also, if you're watching this mini boss fight here, you'll notice that I'm doing that downward attack I was talking about. You can destroy this boss in 5 downward hits, or it takes 12 normal jumps. I mean, quick work of that guy though. Normally he can move all over the map, but in that instance he just kind of stayed to one side. So in this world, I'm just kind of using enemies as a means to boost myself if I need to. I actually killed that enemy there because he was in an awkward spot, and if I didn't, it would have actually launched me up even higher, and that would have ended up making me take damage, and we don't want to take too much damage before we get to the HP parts. Some of the areas we can use our HP to damage boost past certain platforms, but before that we want to make sure we don't take any unnecessary damage. Otherwise we have to take the backup plan, and it's a lot slower. Here we're using James Pond's second ability, and that is apparently to turn himself into a rod and just fly up and grapple. Don't know why that happens. They don't explain it, but he's a rubber band. I'm actually bonking my head on the ceiling here because I picked up an item called the umbrella in this game. And when you drop down, the umbrella will make you slowly glide down. But because we want to get to the end of the level immediately, we bonk our head to get rid of the item's effect and just drop down. I'm actually timing my jumps here because if I wait too long on the chocolate bars, they'll start moving around and it'll mess up my jumps. I also did a short hop there to make sure I hit the chocolate bar. If I hold down my jump, I overshoot and go right into a spike pit. Sometimes you'll see me doing jumps over inclines. Depending how high the roof is, I'll jump over upwards areas. But if there's a roof above me, I'll just walk normally, because bonking your head actually slows you down. Another interesting power-up that James has here is what looks like Albert Einstein's hair, but it can fly. I know it's wings, but they're not on his back, they're on his head. So it just looks like a funny little wig. I'm actually taking some intentional damage here to get through enemies because they kind of spawned awkwardly. You always thought it was hair, right? It looks like hair. They're the most flotatious bits of wigs I've ever seen in my life. Also, if you notice, depending on how many enemies are on the screen, it actually lags the game down immensely. In some areas throughout the run, I will kill certain enemies to reduce lag for later. And I'll explain that in a little bit. This level, I've seen so many people play this level and get so confused as to why they couldn't progress. There's 3 end areas, so you think, oh, why not just click on one of them? It'll take me to the next. No, it's an endless loop until you get the secret ending. And it kind of introduces the fact that there's ways to end a level in separate ways. And we actually use those throughout the run as well. Kill to stop it from lagging out. Yeah, exactly. And with that, that's one of the levels complete. I think the next one is the car level. You'll have to apologize for there not being any game audio. My capture card apparently does not want to capture the audio from my video game. Oh, that is some lag right there. All right. I actually tried to hit a jump on that ramp there. If you can time the jump perfectly, you can jump over that ramp without slowing down. Unfortunately, I just pushed it like a millisecond too late, so I couldn't do it. All right, here's everyone's favorite part of any platformer, an auto scroller. And this one is actually pretty deadly because you can get caught on the like cars and stuff here and get stuck in between the moving screen. It's definitely the worst at the very end, and I'll explain why when we get there. I'm also like just jumping a bit here to get the enemies to spawn. Right here. So I bonk my head there to make sure I go on the platform, but if I jump over it, I'll fall into the area and I have a chance of getting squished. Here's another little scary one. These platforms drop, and if you're underneath them, they immediately squish you, or if they even like touch your foot. So what I'm doing here is like I do a high jump to bait it out. This is definitely one of those levels that I was talking about though, where I'm going to be killing enemies to reduce lag. It's in halfway through the level. You'll see in a moment here. These guys right here. So the enemies in the entire level never despawn. It's weird. But if you kill one of them on this runway here, it won't lag it whatsoever. Like you might see maybe a like millisecond of like stutter, but it doesn't fully lag. So what I was trying to do there on those platforms is if you jump at the very edge of the platform, you can make the next platform. But I jumped just a tad too early. Let's see. The next level is... yes, this one. So basically, we're just on the hunt for more penguins. Some levels in James Pond require you to collect penguins, then get to the end, and then others just require you to get to the end. It doesn't tell you what each level does. It just kind of expects you to do it. So you could be running through levels forever and not knowing why. And this one is particularly nasty in the collection of penguins. You have these 3 areas here, which normally have enemies in them, but they've been despawned because of the way we use the screens. Like, see that guy right there? He won't be there later. And we're just collecting these 3 penguins. And normally, if you were going through the game, you would think, oh, those are all the penguins we need. No. No, what this game did is put a penguin underneath that upward platform, the elevator, and expects you to be able to find a way to get down there on your own. It's so mean. And then from there, we just take the elevators up. And we're actually moving over to this area. So this one is a little neat. we're using upward momentum at the perfect time to get into that little area there. If you are jumping too fast, you might not be able to get in there because you have to try and get in there and jump at the same time. This level here, it's really self-explanatory. Just hold right. I'm not even kidding. Just hold right. Grab your controller. Just do this. And you're done. I've never noticed that he just stares at the player the whole time. So what I did there is I buffered my totem in order to make it so the enemy wouldn't knock me down. Because if an enemy collides with you in mid-totem, it drops you all the way down. And you have to start again. Fun fact, this car looks like it kills any enemy it touches. But if it like touches the top of the car, you'll actually get knocked out of the car. I've had that happen once. And I was very confused. I'm like, wait, what? I think, yeah, that's the final level in the car world. So we're moving on to our next boss. This one is kind of, it's consistent, but like you have to be wary of the additional enemy that's inside of the level because sometimes it can move weird. But the boss's placement is always the same, as long as you do the hits properly. At the start here, I just kind of move below him and avoid the enemy there. Once he drops down, I do some down pounds on his head. Wait for him to jump. Keep doing that. I'm just timing it. As soon as his iframes are done, I'm back in there doing another hit. He looks like he's so worried as he's running. I would be worried too if I'm running at that speed. It's like, am I gonna stop? Nobody knows. So, this level, I made a little of a mistake. So this is another auto-scroller, but it doesn't start until you actually move to the right. I accidentally was holding right, and that's what started the auto-scroller, but I actually needed to grab the bathtub and then start the auto-scroller. The auto-scrollers are intense. I love them. They also go really fast, and I love that. Like, imagine like the slowest auto-scroller and be like, man, this is okay, it's neat. And then you play one of these and you go back to it, you're like, oh no. I'm actually just like keeping myself at this level because I know that the end platform is going to be right around here. I'm gonna move up to that platform there and then just kind of glide along. The train level of doom. Oh yeah. Once I hit this platform right here, I'm gonna get to the bottom, then just move up and drop myself in this bathtub. This enters us into the next little level area, which is underwater. Never understood how it works. It's just like, oh, we're underwater now. This game goes through its areas really quickly. What I like about this level, though, is it immediately shows you a penguin, knowing that you... Like, it's telling you, you're collecting penguins here. Unlike that one level about 6 minutes ago. It's like, haha, oh, there's penguins about... Near the end of the level, it's like, wait, oh no, I have to find penguins. Yeah, his elves are penguins. This is pretty self-explanatory. We just collected the penguins and then just go straight to the end. He swims like he's jogging. Let's go. I love this game. It's so entertaining. Here, I'm actually hitting that enemy because it launches you a bit faster, especially with the lag happening. It like goes away for a second, and so it just launches you. I think all of the underwater levels require you to get penguins? No, that last one didn't. We went through a secret entrance. I definitely didn't beat this when I was a kid because like the game's requirements for some of the goals are so cryptic. It's like, wait, what am I doing? All right, so now we're back into the normal bathtub level. I tried to avoid the umbrella there, but it doesn't actually do much in this one. I think it's the yellow umbrellas that actually give you the power up, not the orange ones. I'm doing some time jumps here just to make sure I can get here through fast, because underneath is a death spike area. We don't want those. Right? It's so weird to like think about how many people own this, but then when you bring it up, people are like, wait, what? So this is another auto-scroller. It goes a little slower than the other ones, I find. Yeah, it's called RoboCod. Even when I like... It's like called James Bond 2, codename RoboCod. But on the the Super Nintendo, it's not... I actually missed the airplane there because I got unlucky when I hit the box and it went the other way off of to the screen from the auto scroller. I can't speak words today. Hello. But it's really funny to like see that you can actually finish levels with the same amount of time. It's just kind of easier to just grab the plane, go up it, and just kind of let it go. This is when I have to kind of pay attention because I can't get stuck in things. If you don't mind me, I'm just going to actually skip this song because I don't want to listen to it. There we go. Yeah, I'm also very happy with me skipping that song. The score screen is very psychedelic, let's be real. Alright, so I actually kept my invincibility from the other levels, so I'm going to try and run through as fast as possible with it so that I can avoid damage. Unfortunately, I did not there. Those guys come out of nowhere like, whoop, hello. But the rest of it is just like using your platforming to get to the next area. Oh, I understand what hit me there now. So apparently there's these weird bells in the game. And if you touch them, they actually do damage. They're not... they're actually bad for you. So earlier I was talking about damage abuse. What we're going to do in this level is a very quick instance of that. I think I actually... Because of how much HP I have here and how much I want to save for one of the levels coming up, I'm actually going to skip it here and do it at the end. Oh, I love Rail. It's such a... She's such a great artist. And I remember when she got her start. Also, Diz, that's a bad pun. How dare you? So yeah, as I said before, normally if I have more HP, I would do both of the damage abuse in this level. But because I want to have 2 HP going into the final level of this world, I actually skipped over one, but the next one is coming up right about now. So I'm just going to drop in the pit and go. That saves about like 3 seconds. That's all the penguins, and we move on to the next level. I always thought these were... You always thought that they were cigarettes, even though they say playing cards. I know they kind of look weird. The package is like this instead of like this. Oh, sorry. We have 2 more levels before the final level. So in the olden days of this run, people would use Totem to get up there, but I found out that the Rook was there, so you could just jump. It actually like saves 1 second or half a second, something like that. I'm making sure to continuously jump here because if you're walking up an incline like this and you try and jump, sometimes you'll hear the bonk effect and get hit by whatever's coming your way. And because I'm trying to save HP, we can't have that. The game has a weird hitbox with jumping and inclines. Also, if I had 3 HP there, I would have just ran through the enemy. But because we're down to 2, we're gonna just keep it normal. I see those bells up there now, and I'm just like, no, don't touch me. I like how this game just like shows you HP there to just kind of bait you. It's like, oh, how do you get there? And it makes you think you should go back. Also, I did a jump there just now to avoid some, wait, what? He's a robot fish? He doesn't need teeth? I mean, it makes him blend in. Leave him alone. Actually, like, in the last level, I did a jump just as I was going down that decline because I didn't want to grab the umbrellas. Because when you get to the end there, it'll make you fly instead of you dropping down immediately, and you waste like a second or two. I also was just waiting there to bait out the snakes because they... If you ever played the board game Snakes and Ladders, that's what this game is. Right here. There's just like, oh yeah, snakes and ladders, but have some snakes on some ladders. Alright, so this is the level I wanted to have 2 HP going into. Because... oh, the enemies are treacherous here. See, right there, if I had 1 HP, I would have had to start back from the beginning of the level. A lot of this is me using time jumps to make sure I bounce off certain enemies and get as much distance as possible. Ooh, that was so close. I could have gotten hit by that one. Actually ill-timed that jump, so that's why I didn't get a perfect jump towards the snowman. But luckily I was able to react and go backwards in time. That snowman was actually out of cycle. We're gonna jump over this goal and go into the secret goal here. What are the odds? In this game, 100%. The reason we go into that secret area there is to get all this HP back, because we're going into our next boss fight, which is called the Queen of Hearts. I actually made the strat for the next fight, but it's kind of finicky a little bit, because in order to get the quick kill on it, you have to kind of get into position immediately. If you don't, then you have a bit of a slower fight. Alright. So I just get up here as soon as possible and start bouncing on her head. So as you see, I didn't get into position right away. So now I have to wait for her to come to me. Oh. And as you saw there, I'm gonna get hit there. I unfortunately did a normal jump on her. I'm just gonna wait for her to come down. And a normal jump launched me so far away I wasn't able to get into position again. So you have to be really careful with how you do your jumps, because if you feel like you are about to do the hit and you let go, you can actually like lose all of that momentum. We're not listening to this song because I say so. Alright, so this one, I'm actually using this enemy here to get a boost. As you can see, it kind of clipped me in the beginning. In order to get over, because normally, yeah, you would have to totem, but that's slow. We don't want to do slow things. Here, what I'm going to attempt to do is bounce immediately. Unfortunately, it didn't work, but you can sometimes bounce from that platform and just land where the penguin is. I almost called it a pig. Instead of having to do the totem like I did. So we're actually going to jump over the goal again, because there's a secret goal just down here. What this goal gives us is one of the... I can't remember the names. I was going to say one of the vehicles of the game. There's 3 vehicles. There's a train, there's a car, there's a plane. Oh, and a bathtub, sorry. There's 4, I'm a liar. And this plane just lets us cheese the rest of this world here. So just, at this point, if you had a capture card going on, a bath is not a vehicle. It's a vehicle in this game. You saw it. It went vroom vroom. As I was saying, if there were audio, you would be hearing jingle bells. And this is the point where you just sit around going and singing jingle bells, having a good time. This is also like the part where I would open up like a donation area. I'd be like, okay, go ahead, have fun with donations because I'm literally just flying a plane. There's no danger here whatsoever. One thing I will note here is if you bounce off the last soldier there, you actually get a sizable boost upwards. And it gets you to the goal a lot quicker. I've been looking at like what kind of things I can bounce off to get more distance. There's actually a movement that I created in one of the final levels that I'm excited to show because I pulled it off in this video. I call it the speedy run, or ricochet for short. It makes sense when you get there. Alright, so this is like the hardest world in my opinion. This is the last one just before you do a boss fight and then go into one last world and another boss fight. But like this one probably has the more difficult platforming if you're not used to the game. Just because there are things that you want to try and damage boost or totem to, which is slow. We don't totem as much as we can. But before that, we're gonna grab an airplane for half of these levels because we needed more time on the airplane, right? So I would open up a few more donations in this area just because there's not much you can really that can go wrong here, except for me getting hit by that enemy right there. Whoops. Nah, he wants to make sure that you know he's riding the plane. Look, the plane is looking where it's going, so we're good. There's someone who has their eyes on the road. But yeah, other fun facts is that this game has two different names. James Pond in English and RoboCod in Japan. Both of them are a ripoff of their subsequent films, and it's hilarious. So if I didn't take that damage in the beginning of that other level back there, when I got knocked off my plane, I actually would have 5 HP. Unfortunately, I did take the hit, so that's why I'm down to 4. I mean, have you seen the color palette of this world? It's all white. I would be squinting my eyes too if I'm like, oh, too bright. There's no dark mode for this level. I just moved myself up there so I can drop down right away because it lags immensely thanks to all the strawberries here. Thanks, strawberries. All right, this is the last world we have the airplane for, and then we go back to doing actual movement. And I have a fun story to say about the next one coming up because when I was starting to learn this game, I was having trouble with a certain segment until I realized what I was doing wrong. And it's actually quite entertaining to realize what I was doing wrong. We're just gonna wait for that to show up here. All right. So this is another one of those collect the penguins ones. This is a big arena area, so there's a lot of enemies, meaning there's gonna be a lot of lag in some areas, like right here. One of the challenges of this game is working with the slipperiness of the turning mechanic, and then also being able to pull off all of your movement when lag occurs halfway through your movement. Here, I'm just going to bounce off some enemies to get up there without actually having to jump. All right, so right here, after this totem, we have to like totem and get through this secret little wall here. I tried so long to find a consistent method, and I didn't realize that all you have to do is totem and hold left. That was it. I spent like a week doing runs, not knowing that, and being like, this is so frustrating. Why can't I do it? It makes no sense. This isn't consistent. It was super consistent. I just didn't understand. And it was a very eye-opening experience to be like, you know, sometimes things are consistent. You're just not doing it right. Hold left. Like you totem up and then, oh yeah, hold right, sorry, not left. I don't direction. Go this way. This is another one of those fast auto scrollers. What I'm going to be doing here is I'm actually going to try and jump onto this platform here before the auto scroller eats it up and get to the secret exit here. If you miss the jump, there's another one you can do. But if you miss the second one, you just go straight to the end because then otherwise it's not a time save. Oh, please correct me. I'm directionally inclined, apparently. All right, so this level here is probably the last one that's actually hard. There's so many spikes, and it kind of takes everything you know about the game and asks you to utilize it. So I'm doing a bunch of short hops. I'm making sure not to get launched by enemies by holding down my jump. The game tries to trick you. It's like, oh, the last one, it's like, go down here. If you go down there, there's spikes down there that hurt you. So it's all about like you being able to recognize what you've learned throughout every level in the game. And then we're just going to take a little bit of damage boost here in order to get over to that. And that is the level. I used to die a lot on that level when I was starting to learn this run because there are so many hazards and getting used to doing everything takes a little bit of time. This one's easy. Just follow the little pipe, jump onto the platform here. And fun fact, these blue ones, if you hold down in a direction, they move in that direction. Wow, Diz, how could you? But yeah, that's the end of what I consider the hardest world in this game. The last world in this game is just fun. You just use a bunch of movement and just have fun. Hot tip from when you choose to play Super James Pond. Oh, actually, this fight here. It's the first time I've ever seen a Super Nintendo use a mirror mechanic for a boss. So I'm trying to bait the boss and attack it here. There are timings to its iframes. Thanks to that platform there, I was actually knocked out. But that is close to a perfect fight for Ballerina. And from there, it's a race to the final boss. If you got to that point, you were almost done the game, Diz, because this is the final world here. And we get to talk about my favorite thing that I do here. This is the movement that I have been trying to perfect, and I got it perfectly in this run. So we're using these roofs here to get momentum. And right here, watch this. So I hold down, let go, down, let go, and I'm already near the end of the level. We're just using the game's momentum against itself, and we just get right there. I created that! I'm actually super excited about that. And then that one, you just hold down jump when you're in the cannon and move over slightly and then back over so that you don't hit the platform with your head. And this is the final level of the final world. What we're doing here is we're grabbing a plane. Because without the plane, it takes forever to get up to the penguins that are up in the top areas. You'll see in a second here. So normally you would jump up and get onto these guys here. These are platforms. And then start collecting the penguins. Or you just grab the airplane and collect them like this, which is a lot easier. I'm thinking of submitting this to AGDQ, actually. From here, I would just say collect a few more donations, etc., etc. Because we're just using the plane to collect penguins and then go to the end level. It's pretty self-explanatory for this level. It's nice, though, because it feels like the game rewards you for beating that last level. So it's just like, oh, have lots of fun here. Enjoy it. All right. Then we just go in here and end the level. And now it is time for the final boss. If done correctly, you can do it in under a minute from finishing this part. The repeated face is unsettling. All right, so what I'm going to be doing here is positioning myself right about here. And I'm bouncing myself off of the head that he just launched and doing precise ground pounds here. Trying not to go too early because you accidentally... If you like go too early, his invincibility frames continue on. So I could have ended this fight about 5 seconds faster. Actually, no. If you game over, you can continue your run. And ladies and gentlemen, that is Super James Pond, or James Pond 2 codename Robocod on the Genesis. I hope you all enjoyed that. I feel like this is a really quirky, fun game that a lot of people would have a lot of fun watching and everything like that. And it's interesting. I didn't stop my timer, but that was actually a 35:30. Just gonna get rid of that. So yeah. We end time as soon as the boss walks right where I was on the screen. But yeah, I feel like this is a really fun game. A lot of people seem to have played this game in the past. They just didn't think it was a speedrun. I remember going on the leaderboard and finding just Nerdy Nestor there, and I'm like, oh, that's neat. And I watched his run. It was pretty cool, actually. And I took some of the things that he did and kind of just sped it up a bit. And that's why I'm currently the world record holder. I actually got this world record yesterday? No, 2 days ago. And it was awesome because yeah, for now, the world is safe for now. I feel like it's a nice little game that you could stick anywhere. And a lot of people would have fun with it. I also have ideas for donations incentives, like doing some of the bosses blindfolded, or a singing incentive, stuff like that. Oh, it's super marathon safe. Like, there's no way you can't finish it. I'm just gonna close this for now. There we go. It's super marathon safe. There's no way you can't finish a run. I think as long as you keep up to like keep playing the game, you stay consistent. Can't let you run away with this world record. Hey, I worked hard for it. And by hard I mean like when I got my 36, that was actually like the height of me learning, and I was super excited because I beat him by like 4 seconds. This one, all my muscle memory came back during my derusting, and then I just destroyed it by 30 seconds. I was like, whoa. I think sub 35 is possible, because as you saw, like, I had a few mistakes in my actual world record there, but we'll have to see. I would say that would be the end of my submission there.